All right, so get this. Today we're doing a deep dive into this crazy project where this guy turns a 40-foot school bus
Oh, wow.
into a luxury tiny home. And we're basing this all on a YouTube video, documenting the whole process.
Wow.
Start to finish, a whole year.
Pretty ambitious.
Yeah, think about this. What if you ditched rent, right?
Mm.
You buy a school bus
Yeah.
and turn it into your dream home.
I like it.
We're talking ingenuity,
I do.
a lot of welding, some creative problem solving. I mean,
Yeah, that's a great example of this whole tiny home trend.
Yeah.
It's not just about downsizing. It's about
Yeah.
like rethinking what home even means.
yeah.
It's often about like reclaiming these unconventional spaces.
And they kick things off with like a huge G&E move,
No.
raising the roof of the bus.
Literally a huge move.
Literally a huge G move. And the video claims it's the biggest roof raise ever attempted on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
So,
That's a bold move. When you're altering a structure that significantly,
Yeah.
we're dealing with some serious engineering considerations.
right. Yeah.
It's not just about lifting it. It's about like reinforcing the frame,
Right.
making sure it's stable. And often you have to think about building codes and safety regulations too.
Yeah. So they used custom-built wooden jacks to raise the roof almost 4 feet to create a 10-foot interior height.
Wow.
Imagine that.
Yeah.
You can stand up comfortably in a school bus with enough room for a loft. That's the kind of space they're going for.
Right, that's awesome.
But before they can even think about lofts, they have to tackle the basics, insulation, subfloor framing walls, all those steps.
Yeah, all the essentials.
To create a livable space.
Right. And those steps are even more critical in a tiny home because you're working with a smaller envelope.
Right.
So moisture control, ventilation, efficient use of space
Oh, yeah.
becomes so important. You can't afford to make mistakes that might lead to, mold or drafts
Oh, yeah.
or wasted space.
Every inch counts.
Right.
So they divided the bus into distinct zones.
Yep.
A bedroom, an office, a bathroom, and of course that loft we talked about.
Yeah.
And to support their off-grid ambitions, they installed massive water tanks.
Speaking of off-grid living, how much water storage did they incorporate?
Okay, get this, 200 gallons
What?
for the black water tank.
Wow, that's a significant amount.
Yeah.
For those who may not know, the black water tank holds the waste from the toilet.
Right.
200 gallons suggests they're really serious about this off-grid living
Yeah.
for extended periods.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder about their water usage and conservation strategies.
Absolutely. And this is where the story gets kind of heartwarming.
Okay.
This whole bus build is a surprise for the builder's girlfriend, Kelsey.
Oh.
And it all leads up to this romantic beach proposal.
Oh, wow. That's a pretty grand gesture.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
They built a rooftop deck specifically for the proposal with foldable railings
Oh, cool.
designed to comply with those height restrictions.
Yeah.
It's like every detail was thought out,
Yeah.
not just for functionality, but for that emotional impact.
It's amazing how personal touches like that can transform a space.
Yeah.
From just a structure into like a home with meaning and memories.
And in the video, he talks about how supportive Kelsey's been throughout his whole YouTube journey.
Hmm.
So it's clear that this bus represents more than just a living space.
Right.
It's like a testament to their relationship and shared dreams.
That's beautiful.
But let's talk about luxury for a second.
Okay.
They didn't just build a functional space. They went all out with high-end finishes and appliances.
Right. That's what I find so intriguing about this project, this intersection of minimalism and luxury.
Yeah.
How do you define luxury in a space where every inch matters? What choices reflect those priorities?
Well, for starters, they managed to squeeze in a full-size washer and dryer.
Wow.
Really?
Can you imagine?
That must have been a challenge.
Getting those appliances through a bus door?
Yeah. It suggests they really value convenience
Right.
and perhaps aren't willing to compromise on certain comforts, even in a tiny home.
Right.
Yeah.
And the kitchen is amazing. Custom cabinets, a bar, a
Mhm.
curved hood vent. They even splurged on a spa-like bathroom.
Wow. With a 2-person shower, dual shower heads,
Nice.
and fancy tile work.
So they've redefined roughing it.
Totally.
It sounds like these choices suggest that for them, luxury is about the experience,
Yeah.
not necessarily the size of the space.
Exactly. And then there are those finishing touches that really make this bus stand out.
Like what?
They installed a ceiling fan,
Okay.
which is apparently a rarity in the bus conversion world,
Really?
and even a bidet toilet.
Wow. Those details are fascinating
Yeah.
because they speak to a desire for both comfort and innovation.
Yeah.
It's not just about replicating a traditional home.
Right.
It's about incorporating elements that enhance their specific lifestyle.
Finally, they tackled the exterior, gave the bus this bold blue paint job, 6 months of intense work, and they transformed a plain school bus into a stylish and functional home on wheels.
This project is a perfect example of resourcefulness and problem solving.
Yeah.
They encountered unexpected challenges,
Resort-
as anyone undertaking a DIY project of this scale would.
Mhm.
But they found creative solutions.
It makes you wonder, what other unconventional spaces could be transformed into dream homes?
And perhaps more importantly, what does this growing trend of tiny home living and alternative dwelling spaces
Right.
tell us about our evolving relationship with home
Yeah.
and what we truly value?
That's a great question. We'll definitely dig deeper into those themes as we continue our deep dive.
Makes you think, are we limiting ourselves with these traditional ideas of what a house has to be?
Right. Like this bus conversion really makes you question those assumptions. It's not just about the physical structure either.
Right.
It's about the freedom, the mobility that it represents.
And speaking of freedom, they didn't just focus on the aesthetics and comfort.
Right.
They put a lot of thought into the bus's off-grid capability.
Oh, yeah. They wanted to be able to live independently, relying on solar power and their own resources.
Yeah,
They had
yeah.
to install a pretty impressive electrical system to make that happen.
Do you recall what they used to power everything?
Yeah.
Some folks might be surprised at what's possible with these systems these days.
So they have 4 large batteries,
Okay.
which is pretty standard in the off-grid world.
Mm-hmm.
But get this, they added a second alternator to their engine.
Oh, wow.
So that way the batteries charge while the bus is running.
Very clever.
Pretty clever, right?
Yeah. That kind of setup allows them to generate their own electricity
Right.
and reduces their reliance on external power sources.
Exactly.
It's a great example of self-sufficiency and sustainable living.
And what's even more impressive is that they didn't just buy a pre-made system.
Right.
They designed and implemented it themselves.
That DIY spirit is really at the heart of this whole project.
Yeah.
It's not just about the end result.
Yeah.
It's about the knowledge, the skills, the resourcefulness that they gain along the way.
It makes you realize that being able to tackle those kinds of projects, whether it's electrical work or plumbing, or even just basic repairs, it can be incredibly empowering,
It is.
especially in the context of alternative living.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
It fosters a sense of independence
Yeah.
and allows you to truly understand the systems that support your home.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, there's a certain satisfaction that comes with building or fixing things yourself.
For sure. But let's be realistic. Not everyone has the time or skills or even the inclination to become a master DIYer.
Right.
So what about those of us who are, shall we say, less handy?
That's a fair point. Not everyone is cut out to be a builder or an electrician.
Right.
But even if you're not tackling these major construction projects,
Yeah.
there's still a lot to be learned from this couple's approach.
What can the average person take away from this?
Well, think about the creativity, the
Excel-
problem solving, and the perseverance that they displayed.
Mm-hmm.
Those are valuable skills in any context, whether you're facing a complex project at work,
Yeah.
or navigating a challenging personal situation,
Right.
or even just trying to assemble that piece of furniture from IKEA.
Right. So it's not just about building a bus. It's about building resilience, adaptability,
Exactly.
a can-do attitude.
This video is a testament to the fact that even the most ambitious goals can be achieved
Mm-hmm.
with dedication, a willingness to learn,
Yeah.
and the ability to adapt when things don't go according to plan.
Okay. I have to admit, I'm getting a little inspired.
Yeah.
Maybe I won't be converting a bus anytime soon,
Right.
but this video is making me want to tackle some long-avoided projects around my own home.
That's the spirit. And who knows? Maybe one day you'll be sharing your own transformation story.
Maybe, just maybe. But for now, let's get back to this incredible bus.
Okay.
We've talked about the practicality, the off-grid capabilities, and the DIY spirit.
Mm-hmm.
But there's another aspect that really stands out to me, the aesthetics.
Yes. The visual transformation is pretty remarkable.
It is.
I mean, they went from a standard yellow school bus
Right?
to a truly unique and stylish living space.
And they didn't hold back on the interior design.
Right.
Custom cabinets, high-end appliances, that gorgeous tiled bathroom.
They really managed to create a sense of luxury
Yeah.
within a relatively small footprint.
And they weren't afraid to make bold choices, like that vibrant blue exterior paint job.
It's certainly eye-catching.
Yeah.
It reflects a sense of adventure and a willingness to stand out.
Right.
But it's kind of a risky choice for a mobile home, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
Think about trying to blend in with the natural landscape,
Yeah, that's true.
or even navigating certain urban environments.
Well, that's a good point. Maybe it reflects their personalities. They're not afraid to make a statement.
Right.
Or maybe they prioritize self-expression over blending in.
It's a reminder that our homes, whether they're traditional or unconventional,
Right.
are extensions of ourselves.
Exactly. And speaking of dreams, this bus is about to embark on a new adventure.
Oh, the proposal.
Yeah, remember that romantic beach proposal?
Yes, the culmination of months of hard work,
Yeah.
planning, and a whole lot of love.
So they drove the finished bus to this beautiful beachfront campsite. And he proposed to her on the rooftop deck under the stars.
That's beautiful.
It's a lovely story. It adds like an extra layer of meaning
Does?
to this already impressive project.
Yeah, they've literally built a home for their future together.
And now that home is ready to hit the road, explore new places, and create even more memories.
It's a beautiful image.
It is. It symbolizes freedom, mobility,
Yeah.
and the pursuit of a life less ordinary.
It's also a powerful reminder that we have the ability to shape our own lives, to break free from those conventional expectations,
Yeah.
and to create something truly unique.
Sometimes it takes stepping outside of our comfort zones,
Right.
embracing the unconventional, and building something extraordinary brick by brick, or in this case, bolt by bolt.
Just like this couple did with their incredible school bus tiny home.
But their story is just one example.
Of a much larger trend.
Right. There's a growing movement of people who are redefining what home means, embracing these alternative living spaces and prioritizing experiences over material possessions.
And that brings us to some bigger questions.
Oh, yeah.
What's driving this shift?
Yeah.
What are the implications for our society, our environment, and our individual well-being?
Those are excellent questions.
They are.
And ones we should explore further.
After all, this bus conversion is more than just a cool DIY project.
Right.
It's a microcosm of a larger cultural phenomenon.
Okay, so we've seen how this couple turned a school bus into, their dream home,
Right.
but their story is just one example of this bigger trend
Yeah.
of people downsizing, going off grid, and really like rethinking what it means to even have a home.
Totally.
What do you think is behind all of this?
Well, there's a growing fascination with minimalism for sure.
Yeah.
And it's not just about, getting rid of clutter.
Right.
It's about questioning what we truly need to be happy.
Right.
And this bus conversion is like a perfect illustration of that.
Yeah.
They focused on what mattered most to them and designed their space accordingly.
It seems like people are realizing that happiness isn't necessarily tied to
That's right.
the size of their house or how much stuff they have.
Exactly. And for many, that shift in priorities includes, seeking experiences over material goods.
Mm-hmm.
This bus isn't just a home. It's a vehicle for adventure.
Right.
It allows them to explore new places,
Mm-hmm.
connect with nature,
Right.
and live a more mobile lifestyle.
Yeah, that sense of freedom is a big draw, isn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're seeing this idea of home becoming more fluid.
Right.
It's less about a fixed address and
Mhm.
more about a sense of belonging wherever you happen to be.
And for some, that means a tiny house on wheels or a converted van.
Right.
Or even like a renovated shipping container.
Exactly. It's amazing how creative people are getting
Yeah.
with these alternative living spaces.
So what's driving this whole movement?
Well, it's driven by this desire for flexibility, affordability,
Mm.
and a closer connection to nature. For a lot of folks, it's also a way to reduce their environmental footprint
Right.
and live more sustainably.
That's a good point. Living in a smaller space often forces you to consume less,
Right.
which obviously can have a positive impact on the planet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This bus conversion, with its off-grid capabilities and focus on self-sufficiency,
Right.
it's a great example of how alternative living can encourage more environmentally conscious choices.
It makes you wonder, is this a reaction to the excesses of modern life?
That's an interesting thought.
Maybe it's a way of simplifying, slowing down, and focusing on what truly matters.
I think there's something to that.
Yeah.
In a world that often feels overwhelming and chaotic,
Right.
creating a smaller, more intentional living space
Right.
can be a way to regain a sense of control and peace.
It's like saying, I don't need all this stuff. I just need a space that reflects who I am and how I want to live.
Exactly.
And in this case, that space just happens to be a beautifully renovated school bus.
It's a reminder that we have the power to shape our own environments,
Yeah.
and break free from those conventional expectations
Right.
and to create spaces that support our values and dreams.
Well, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a thought to ponder.
Okay.
Imagine you could design your ideal living space, free from any limitations.
Mm-hmm.
What would it look like?
Yeah,
Where would it be?
good question.
And most importantly, how would it allow you to live your best life?
That's a wonderful question to consider.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, that's what this bus conversion and this whole tiny house movement is all about. Creating spaces that bring us joy, support our well-being,
Yeah.
and allow us to live in alignment with our values.
It's a journey worth exploring. Whether you're dreaming of a home on wheels, a cozy cabin in the woods,
Yeah.
or simply finding ways to make your current space, more meaningful and fulfilling.
Remember, it's not about the square footage. It's about creating a space that truly feels like home.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep exploring, keep dreaming,
Yes.
and keep creating the life you want.